To this day, I still love basketball. I still always play basketball. But I said, okay, I'm not gonna be a PBA player now. I need to, I need to do something else, bro.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Sports Season podcast, where we get to know the sports that you know about and those that you should know about. I'm Gio Sison, and for this episode, as requested by one of our listeners, we're going to take it to the dance floor. Joining us to talk about street dance are former members of the LaSalle Dance Company, or LSDC-Street, who were part of the UAAP Season 81 Street Dance Competition champions. We're joined by Elna Ocampo and Gio Martinez. Guys, thanks for being here.
Thank you for
Hi.
having us.
You.
I was actually surprised na, wow, finally dance is gonna be recognized as a sport. So I appreciate it.
Dami
We
nag-request.
appreciate that, Jigo. Thank you.
For sure, for sure. Okay, so I guess to start, Gio, you're in the States, Elna's here, but we've all been in quarantine. We've all been going through this pandemic. I guess I'll start with Elna. How are you? What have you been doing? I know both of you have been working, so could you just share a little bit about that?
Yeah, lately I've been working from home. I work with like ngayon online na siya. Parang cycling and rowing studio. So every day siya. Yeah, that's been keeping me busy this quarantine. Yun lang actually. I've been trying out different things like streaming games and still dancing. And I had a chance. Kaya yun. It's harder now kasi online na lahat. Pero yeah.
Yeah, Gio over there in the
Gamer
States.
na yan si Elna.
Gamer.
Nax.
I tried, parang, why not? Dami lang pwede i-try.
Bagay naman, bagay.
Yeah, so far, okay naman siya. And, yeah, hindi ko na-expect na ma-enjoy ko siya this much. So, yun. Ikaw, Gio,
All right.
kamusta ka naman dyan?
Yeah.
Me, sorry. So yeah, I've been working. I actually right now like my full time right now is I work in a chicken restaurant. Chicken, not really restaurant because it's kind of like in between fast food and the restaurant. Basta, that's what I'm doing right now full time. But I'm also like doing some freelance stuff with like recently I did this promotional video for this company, for this manufacturing company with my cousin's boyfriend. And yeah, we're trying to start that now because we kind of get that stuff. I mean, I studied com arts in LaSalle, so I'm kind of I was exposed to that kind of stuff in
Yeah.
college. And then also, yeah, yun nga. And then freelance stuff lang, like let's say I have friends na kailangan nila magpa-mix ng music and all that stuff, or edit some stuff. So they just hit me up, and then whether it's paid or not depends. But at least practice pa rin naman. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Of
okay.
course.
And dance,
Okay.
I'm still dancing din pala. So I mean, when I
Okay.
can.
Yeah. I was actually gonna ask about that. With the pandemic, a lot of sports have stopped. A lot of sporting events. Obviously, now they're kind of resuming, like the NBA, the PBA. But what is the dancing community or the dancing field looking like right now with the whole quarantine? How have they adjusted? What have been, some things that they've that you guys have done to adjust to what's happening now and still stay in dance?
Well, actually, I forgot to mention na parang, like, so, sorry. I am part of DDG Prod na parang, for these videos, parang, it's mostly focused about the dance community. It's parang lately, nag-release kami ng documentary, highlight dancers, parang make people feel alive or come alive this pandemic. Short lang siya, 3-minute documentary. Tapos parang, I was able to interview Miss Song. He, parang famous, well-known siya dito sa Philippines and ibang parts din ng world actually. Tapos he said na parang people turned towards artists during this pandemic. Tapos parang as dancers or bilang a mentor din, parang yung dance niya kasi mas accessible online. Since that's how the dance community parang keeps connected with the people online na talaga yung classes and everything. So yun, I think the dance community is making ways to keep busy, may classes pa rin, interact kahit na sobrang hirap ng online compared to actually being together and training. Pero yun, solid naman yung dance community for me, I believe. Yeah.
So for me naman, like personally, me kasi I'm not dancing for a living anymore, kinda. Well, being an LSDC before, it was like dancing for a living. But anyway, but I'm still, I'm trying to, because ngayon, since quarantine and with the whole coronavirus pandemic, me personally, I've been trying to take classes online. Kasi yun nga, like I think that's what the dance communities, they're leaning towards that, trying to still continue, honing their craft in the online world naman. So from what I've seen, because I haven't really spoken to a lot of my dancer friends since I was still living in the Philippines. Parang what I see is parang they've been doing, like some of them, like the people who really dance for a living is, they papaklas sila, they have dance classes online, and sometimes some of them do it for free, but some of them who, yung mga up there na talaga, they charge, like to charge sila. Like, see, I don't know him because one of like the most famous dancers, si Lyle Beniga, he just came out with this app. It's kind of like an app or like a software where you pay like $60 a month, and yeah, it's unlimited classes, different teachers. And so I think that's, every, like what Elna said, like, and like every business, the dancers are also trying to find ways to, live off through dance. Kasi, especially in the Philippines, that's hard. Kasi palaki pa lang naman yung dance community. I mean, we've gone a long way from when we started, for sure. But I like what I see na parang especially the ones who are taking dance seriously, they're really, they're really finding ways and, being creative about it.
Yeah. No, and I think it's parang important to see, like, well, compared to other sports, I feel like there's definitely a big adjustment with the dance community, but as compared to other sports, it's a little easier, I guess, to do at home. You just need a little space, and you can still I guess hone your craft practice as compared to yung ibang sports. Okay, so we'll get into considering this is a sports podcast, my first question would of course be something that's not, I don't want to say it's a big debate, but it's something that has been contested, I would say. So for you guys, I guess I'd start with Gio. Is dance a sport?
Yeah, I'd say dance is definitely a sport, but that's there's that confusing line between dance being an art and dance being a sport. I think it really depends on what lane you're in. Kasi if you're in the competitive side of dance, then I think, they're athletes. I see ourselves as athletes because, if only you could see like how hard our trainings are, how hard conditionings are, parang grabe. Mahirap din talaga siya because the attention to detail and the attention to, the small like small little things where you really have to perfect it. It takes, like, you can have a 5-second dance, a 5-second dance routine be practiced for like a week, 2 weeks just to master it. So yeah, I think, like I said, it depends on the lane you're really in. But for some people, they don't see it as a sport. And I get that, because dancing is originally an art where if you get too competitive about it, it's like you lose the magic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yun nga. So yun yung parang medyo yun yung parang medyo confusing line about it. But it's a matter of knowing, where what your priority is. So
right. What about for you,
that's for me.
Elna?
I agree with Gio na, syempre coming from yung background ko din naman kasi is competitive dancing. So, masasabi ko talaga na for me, dancing is a sport, lalo na if you're in that lane. Pero I thought about this parang there's this idea na when you're an athlete, parang may requirement sa body, or like parang you have to meet these standards na parang dapat in shape ka or something, like in conditioning with for naman. like when yun yung parang sports side, pero when you think about it, you don't need those naman talaga like to express, because that's, or like, to dance, parang it doesn't really matter kasi you can dance anytime, anywhere, or just express yourself, and it's already dancing. So parang that's where the art side comes in naman. So it's really confusing, yeah, depende rin siguro sa person. Kasi some, I mean, don't really need the requirements of like athleticism for it to be considered a sport, diba? So yun, it's really a fine line talaga. Pero for me, syempre, I consider it a sport after competing. Yun, definitely. Yeah.
Can I add?
Yeah, go lang.
So but yun nga, parang it being a sport, that's just a really small part of it eh. Kasi let's say let's say there's this company that hires you and asks you to do this, to do that, or actually even if they don't ask you to do that, but you as an artist, parang you want it to be something, you want it to be fresh, and you want it to be you want it to be something that's never been seen before. So that's where the artistry comes in, and you can't be like really competitive na parang that's not the way. You can't be like, okay, pangit yung ginawa niya, kaya I think mine was better. So it's a matter of finding what's new, and of course studying your craft, and making your own thing. And that's where I think it's where artistry is also very important. And let's say UAAP, hindi naman siya yung parang basketball or where you have to outman. You're not trying to beat the opponent. You're trying to do something that's never been seen before. Kasi, if you're just an athlete, yeah, you can do the strong stuff. You can do the strong stuff. But what if the last 5 years, yun lang din naman ginagawa ng ibang schools, diba? So it's really a mix of both. But definitely, it is a sport for sure.
Yeah, I think well, parang the argument to be made is obviously, as you mentioned, it's physical, there's competition. But I guess the debate then is like, when you become professionals, usually you're not really considered as athletes, usually as performers. But like, I guess to counter that, you look at our professional basketball players, even in the NBA, they always talk about how it's, especially now with the rise of the social issues, they always talk about how, this is for entertainment purposes. So I guess not naman to say that there's no difference, but like what they're doing is also in a way performing, or is in a way for entertainment.
Exactly.
Diba?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
But considering we're talking about it right now as a sport, I wanted to ask how much of it, how do you say it? Like, parang how much of the strength of a team, or the strength in dancing is individual, how much of it is as a team. So I guess, okay, I'll give an example. Like, we see so many different dance groups here, going abroad. Do you think that you could pinpoint like the best dancer from each group, and then like, let's say you make a pool and you put all of those dancers together and you make a Philippine team, kind of like what they do with basketball, what they do with volleyball? Because when I see dance competitions, it's really like, parang you take the whole team as it is. Like, their strength comes from like, their chemistry and all of that. But is there like an individual like, that this guy is like for someone to deal with, or is it really like as a team?
Can I start?
We can, go down.
All right. So yeah, isa pa yan, that's so complicated. Because before, growing up, especially, I'm sure Elna knows this also. Growing up, parang, let's say in high school setting, of course, wala naman kayong say kasi you have a coach eh. Alam mo yun? So parang your ano talaga is parang, itong claret na to, or itong LSGH na to, parang kaya naman yan, mahina naman yan, blah, 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 or so mga ganyan. Alam mo yung mga usual na trash talk lang sa inyo. But what I realized kasi when I got to college, because eventually in college I became a choreographer, and I realized na that's not the way it's supposed to be eh. Especially even if it's a competition, you want to outthink the other group, but yeah, like I said, it's outthinking na eh. It becomes a thinking game. And like in sports, diba? Like in basketball, let's say, diba, parang may kumbaga basketball IQ, may ganun din sa dance. And I think I personally believe that's actually in competitions, that's actually more important in dance, yung parang dance IQ, however you want to say it. Kasi like I'll give you an example. Let's say we have this teammate. He was one of the choreographers also with me. Si Zion Wushini. He's
Okay.
considered by a lot as like one of the best. Especially he won this award I think in UAAP last year, parang best performer. And no, in the
Ay,
competition before UAAP, he won best performer. And then there was a dance battle round where he won. But if you
Mm.
compare him to the other dancers, he wasn't the most athletic. He wasn't like that. He just knew how to beat them. Alam mo yun? Super. And
Yeah.
that's where the artistry comes in also. It you know, one thing na nga yung having that dance IQ, like I was saying, is knowing how to beat and how to outman him in a dance battle or in a performance. But there's also um the artistry where with Zion, he studied his craft talaga. He's a popper. That's a dance style. He's a popper, and he really
Mm.
studied that. And he's, let's say if you're comparing, to make you to bet for you to better understand. Let's say you're comparing Steph Curry and Damian Lillard.
Okay.
Damian Lillard, look, by the looks of it, he looks like he's the alam mo yun, A plus, parang A siya sa mid range inside 3 points. But Steph Curry is like A plus 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 in 3 points because that's where he specializes. Gets
Yeah.
ba? And nakikita siya sa results. So that's how I see people like Zion who really study their craft. And so yeah, like, I'm not sure if you're following Jigo, but it's really
I get,
complicated.
yeah.
It's really a mix of everything. Like chemistry also. Like chemistry, our LSD, especially our senior year, I believe we almost swept it. But if you look at our, as in talagang eye test lang, if you make a stand, we're also skinny, we're also short. Alam mo yun? So, but
yeah, it's
it's a matter of having the right people, think of concepts and, think really basically thinking the game, if putting it that way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yun lang for
Okay.
me.
ako
Yeah.
like I do both, like personal din siya, like you can put the super um great dancer or like kunin mo lahat ng standout dancers or kilalang dancers from different teams, put them all together individually. Sobrang they have their own identity, kilala sa, alam mo yun, sa career nila and everything. Put them together, dun din naman papasok yung as a team yung dance. Pero dun din papasok yung kung may chemistry ba sila. Kasi mayroon namang teams na ang gagaling ng dancers pero hindi naman nag-work together. Siyempre
Mm.
pag sa team effort. So yeah, parang hindi mo na masabi it's just this or buhat lang ng isa kasi may ganun yung background or member lang to, parang ganun. So yeah, yun. I see it as both. Depende rin yun sa person. Really wanna invest kasi some people parang they just dance. Ayun nga, I see it as both kasi may mga standout dances talaga, they see it as their career, they work on it, pero meron ding mga people na they just want to experience it sa high school life nila, college life nila, this team.
Yeah.
Pero alam mo yun, some people really invest on outside teams, work sa train at night. Yun.
I think it's safe to say in competitions there's really no formula.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there are things that you take from the past, but you can't take everything because that's the thing with dance, di ba? Parang it's got to be fresh every time. So there's really no formula. I guess the things you hope to bring to the next competition is of course the chemistry your team has. Like in any sport, you really need that chemistry. From your, like the saying goes, your weakest. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So
Mm.
so yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Considering that, do you guys first of all, like if we are arguing that this is a sport, do you think it should be included in the bigger sports competitions? Like let's say that, like, do you want to see street dance or any kind of dance? I think there has been dance sport, but it's more ballroom type that's been already in the SEA Games. Do you think that we should see street dance in the SEA Games, in the Olympics? And I guess, like, in addition to that, how would the teams form there? Would you want one team that's already been together, or do you want to get everyone, like we were discussing earlier?
Dang, we actually always talk about this kami di ba? Nila Elna nila,
Yeah.
yung teammates namin. But actually, in my dance na sa Olympics, I'm not sure if you know, but b-boying, like break dancing, b-boying, is already part, di ba? Am I right? I'm not sure
Yeah, yeah.
if nagkaroon na
Not
ng b-boying competition, pero alam ko they just signed it na parang they just signed the go signal. They just hit the go signal and it's part na actually. So I think that's a big step. And because
Yeah.
b-boy, now that's the yun talaga athleticism din talaga doon. So, but I think we're leaning towards it
yeah.
honestly. I think we're leaning towards that. So, I won't be surprised if in like let's say the next 2 or 3 Olympics they suddenly decide na okay, street dancing as a whole is gonna be part na. I'm
Mhm.
not sure how it's gonna be if it's like a battle type,
Yeah.
para since or if it's the traditional competition scene where there are like 3, 5 judges and but yeah, yun nga eh. Let's say it's in a big competition. That's gonna get so controversial though because it's up to judges eh. Diba?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like okay, you know. But
Yeah.
then again, naisip ko na rin yun. Like in
Reference.
basketball, there are referees, so
Yeah.
they can make bad calls. So let's see how people take it. But yeah, we've always been we always talk about this topic honestly. Like ayun, like you're going back to your question. Will you get if you're the coach? Let's say Duterte assign you, okay, ikaw, or kung sino man assign you, okay, ikaw, you're gonna head the dance, the Philippine dance team that's gonna compete in the Olympics. Is it gonna be like you're gonna get the best dancers from different groups,
Mhm.
or remember when Matt Nieto hit that winning shot when
Yeah,
they
yeah.
represented, diba? They got like the best parang
Team.
core na kasi because
Parang
they
ganun,
know each
yeah.
other, diba? So instead of like picking, Malesio, Nieto, mga ganyan, parang they got a team that's proven that they can win. So I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I'm leaning more sa dun sa get the team that's established already. So
Ako, I think, syempre, we all want that naman. If, na maabot ng dance community sa Philippines. Or like, I mean, in any dance community na umabot kami sa level na yun. Pero, kasi for me, I think it's gonna be hard and complicated if ever nga. Kasi, hindi lang naman b-boy yung dance. Like, ang dami pang ibang klaseng dance na baka kailangan i-consider or gusto mo ng mga dances i-consider to be part if ever like magsa-start tayo na may dance na nga sa Olympics. Like, ayun nga, parang sabi ni Gio, it's gonna be hard like paano yung judging kasi I believe na dance is always evolving. Hindi lang siya parang set. I mean, hindi naman sa hindi nag-evolve yung ibang sports pero like alam mo yun, pag dance, pwedeng in the next years or may magawang skill or dance na i-consider, it's always gonna be evolving. It's gonna be complicated if ever umabot man tayo sa level na yun. Pero, syempre, we want that to happen. Kasi, yeah, we believe na dance nga is a sport. Dun sa, yeah. Okay. Yeah, like, yung second question mo, like, yeah, parang, you can parang mention ko kanina, hindi naman pwedeng you just get all the good people and assume na it's gonna be a great team. Pero, of course, it can definitely work. It goes both ways din naman. Pero yeah, kung wala din namang chemistry, or if an old team would mean better chemistry, that would be beneficial for a team. So, baka makatulong din yun for people to think na that's a better way of making a team. Yeah, iba-iba
Mhm.
talaga. Ayun.
Sorry, you're adding something.
I was saying, especially if it's let's say we do end up having a dance, let's say the Olympics decide on having a dance, dance competition in the Olympics. I'm confident with the Philippines because if you look
Mm.
at World Hip Hop
Yeah.
International, like every year there's always a Philippine team that's placing or if not winning the whole thing. So
Yeah.
that should be nice. That's nice to that's exciting if ever it does
Yeah,
push through.
for sure. Oh, okay. Okay, so we'll I guess talk about that a little bit more later. I guess I wanted to now go into you guys and how you started with dance. So we'll start with Elna. I wanted to get to know rin, parang, for example, Gio would agree with me if I said that the main sport or the main thing that almost all of us got into was definitely basketball when we were younger, for sure. I wanted to know,
Yeah.
parang for you, Elna, in MC, parang what was it like? What was everyone going into at the time, and like what made you, I guess, choose to go into dancing?
Actually, my sister had a great influence on why I started dancing. Um, Actually, I started dancing ng grade 6. Parang club lang. I was actually sing between softball or dancing. Actually, pangarap ko pa rin yun matry maging like softball to. Pero like, pangarap na lang siya ngayon kasi I chose the dance path. Tapos ayun, and then when I went into high school, parang my was like, sabi ka sa club na to, which was Sayaw Ata. Parang, cool yan, cool, ganyan. But like, since galing ako sa school na I was dancing, my sister was parang, sige, join this na. Kasi she had friends na, parang varsity member na nung dance team na yun. So parang she was telling us, join yung sister ko. So, ayun, pagdating naman ng high school, continued dancing whole 4 years. Pero I only really started competing when I was in 3rd year high school. So, yun, ever since, the college, I thought I was gonna stop dancing nung high school. But then, I remember during my last high school session, I think this was Sketches 11, or 10, sorry, wala pa lang, Sketches 11, right? Kasi 10 years lang yung Sketches. I think it was my last comp, tapos hindi kami nanalo. And then, syempre, pag high school, iyak, sad kayo, ganyan. My dad was like, okay lang yan, ako na lang ulit sa college. Parang gulat na, oh my gosh, I mean, okay lang na, sumayo pa rin ako sa college, ganyan. So, ayun, I continued it. Tapos, yun, competitive, nag-beat din naman ako ng college, Gio. And the rest was history.
Beast yan siya.
Ayun.
Yeah. Okay. For you, Gio, I kind of wanted to add a little bit. We went to we were batchmates for like grade school to high school, and obviously, parang there were some fads that came in. Grade 2 we had grade 2 and 3 we had Kush Ball. I think Rubik's Cube the next day, that was speed stacks again. But like, parang
Oh my God.
what was consistent there is parang
Wow.
at least half of the batch would always play basketball.
Oh
And
yeah, for
I know
sure.
you
Wow.
were definitely involved in basketball also, but parang I know you didn't start that early in dancing, if I'm not mistaken, because like we had the club in grade school. I think it was ABDC, diba? And I know you were part of that,
No.
if I'm not
No,
mistaken.
no, no.
And parang even like you joined Induct fairly late, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah,
like what
yeah.
what made what made you get into dancing, and like why was it so late or relatively late?
So I've actually been dancing my whole life, honestly, like since I was like 6, 5. Because my mom's a dancer, my sister's a dancer, and but my family is just really into like performing, ganyan. But I always saw that as like a hobby, because I di naman sa but I kind of had the skill, it came naturally. Hindi sa nagyayabang, but yeah, but it's always been like but it's always been it's always been like that. But I really didn't take it like seriously, because sino ba ano ba that, especially at that time, especially our time growing up, we didn't have this social media where you could see all the crazy dances growing up. Sino ba, like Jabberwockies, ganyan, and how it's like it's a one in a million chance lang na you can be like the Jabberwockies, or or whoever, or like these crazy dancers. So yeah, so 6, I take summer workshops in trumpets play shops. So mga ganun, mga every summer, or I'd miss a few summers, I was always dancing and playing basketball. Like I enjoyed like Alaska Power Camp and all that stuff. But I always saw like my dream. If you asked like 7-year-old me what I was gonna be growing up, I said I was gonna be in the PBA, bro. Alam mo yan.
Wow.
Frustrated basketball player, bro. But No, but yeah, so how it started, yun nga, alam ko, yung, so, fast forward to grade school na sa Ateneo, and yun nga, they had these, yung mga dance clubs, ganyan, like yun nga, yung sinasabi, ABDC, but I didn't see myself there talaga kasi parang I didn't fit in it. Kasi I'm not a break dancer, I'm not a b-boy, and actually not almost, like everyone. Diba, parang they'd be in the, what's that stage? Dun sa,
Oh my
remember that
God.
stage?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Amphitheater? Amphitheater,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I think so.
yeah, amphitheater. Everybody's just doing all these crazy sila paeng. They're doing all these crazy stunts. So I drop by when I'm playing. If I'm not playing basketball, I drop by, but I'll watch lang ganyan, cool. But it really wasn't me. Like that wasn't me. That wasn't me. So tapos I was trying to be, like I said, a basketball player. And I remember first year high school, I think that was si Sir Luz pa ata yun eh. Coach siya nun, di ba?
Yeah.
Basta he asked me to try out sa basketball. So I went, ganyan, sabi niya, kailangan
Wow.
point guard, ganyan. So pumunta ako, di ba, parang, hindi, parang akala ko sure ball na, ganyan. Pagpunta kong tryouts, ang sama ng tryouts ko, bro. Ang sama. Diba? I was thinking about it too much. So hindi ako natanggap. I think that was Paya, Prada.
Yeah,
Basta
Paya,
anyway,
for
basta,
sure.
yeah. Anyway, so hindi ako
Turning point.
natanggap, ganyan. So parang ako, burat na burat. I mean, I always, up to this day, I still love basketball. I still always play basketball. But I said, okay, I'm not gonna be a PBA player now. I need to do something else, bro. So yun, so second year high school, I was thinking, ano pwede? And then, people were telling me na, cause I, kapag sa class, lagi akong sorry, basta lagi akong naloloko. So, lagi akong, hindi, I saw Harvey, he cursed, so okay lang pala.
Yeah, dude, it's fine.
No, anyway, so second year high school, some people, not a lot, some people knew I could dance kasi syempre, alam mo, pag may mga Christmas party, salo-salo, nung time na yun.
Yeah.
Sige, tara lang, parang for fun. And so there's, who was it? I think it was, second year kasi, so si Jason Go, si Jay Go, parang, he was like, nung second year ata, siya lang ata sa batch, nung mga induct that time na, compet team eh. So parang coming from him, he was saying parang pinupush niya ako, uy, try mo na, blah, blah. Kasi nga, I didn't know what to do. So I said, sige na, I'll try. Sige, I'll join. Kasi that was the first year na tinanggal yung audition. So alam mo yun, parang ang pangit. Anyway, it's no regrets. Pero I could hear, alam mo, narinig ko yung mga tao, parang, ano ba to? Parang sumali lang ata to para sa mga chicks, ganyan, blah, 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 blah. And so parang even me, parang since I didn't fit in right away, kasi they all knew each other since I joined second year, they were all close na, and they were all really, so I really wasn't sure. And then second year, going to third year, I remember parang yung coach namin, si Coach Serna, parang he was telling people magaling daw yung Gio, parang he can move, blah, blah, blah. Tapos he put me in the compet team, and that's when I was like, okay, but still, I could still hear the chatter na parang, but ganyan, alam mo yun, parang, ba't nandito, mga ganyan. So parang, basta, that stayed with me. So parang, okay, blah, blah, blah. But still, in high school, even if I was competing now with Induct, it still wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna, I want to be performing when I'm 25 or something like that. It was still a hobby. There's still a hobby pa lang. And then, like Elna, college, I wasn't supposed to dance anymore. And but my sister, and I remember my sister was part of the LaSalle dance company, and she was, she wasn't even forcing me because she knew I didn't want to dance na, and it really wasn't for me. So she wasn't forcing me. It was like my other friends that were forcing me. Try out lang, ganun. Kasi ito may tryouts na talaga mismo. Parang audition. So I went, and then natanggap, and then wala, the rest is history. That's where I really found, parang they knew they knew what lane I should be on. Like my coach in college, she knew what lane I should be on, and she pushed me to, pushed me to, stay on that lane and improve my craft. And voila, bro, na in love na lang din talaga ako. So yeah, the rest is history. So yun, hindi ako PBA player ngayon, for your information.
I mean, not yet. Who knows?
Not yet. Duncan si Duncan Robinson, di ba? Dapat di siya dapat mag-NBA. Joke lang. Pero Yeah, that's gone.
Oh yeah.
Fan na lang ako ngayon, fan.
Okay. I guess like a follow-up to that. Do you guys think parang I guess for basketball, for example, we can attest, both of us can attest that parang, not everyone can be a player. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's height, sometimes iba talaga yung requirement. But do you think that anyone can dance, or is there like I don't know, is there like a certain quality that you have to be able to be a successful dancer? We could Elna
Oh.
first.
Ako, I think,
I thought Elna was about to
naglag
talk kasi, so I was waiting. Oh man, ikaw yung naglag.
naglag ka.
Anyway,
Sorry,
sige,
sorry.
go.
Ako, I think anyone can dance. Kasi it's a form of expression eh. Like, it doesn't have to be, alam mo yun, competitive. Doesn't have to be so great. It depends on you naman talaga. If you think it's great, you're dancing, you're a dancer, parang ganun. Dance. Pero like, it's hard din kasi when you say competitive dancing, some people really pour their hearts out, their time, really commit. Pero others, they don't really feel the need to compete, to experience that. Parang dancing alone, enough na sa kanila. So yun, depends then on how you see it, what dance is for you. Is it just to express? Anyone talaga can dance. Committing and devoting your time to competitive dancing. Hindi ko sinasabi na hindi tao, pero if you're devoted, kaya mo talaga, hindi naman nalilimit yung fall na yun lang, para ma-consider na kaya mong sumayaw. Alam mo yun. It's really a way of expression.
So may chance pa pala ako. Nice.
Oh man, let's call it abstract. TikTok.
Kaya gumawa ka na ng TikTok account. But for me naman,
what for you, Gio?
So for me naman, I think it's like any other craft. Like if anybody can play basketball, but not everybody's gonna be LeBron James or something. Alam mo yun, it really takes time, effort. I mean, it's nothing easy. And I think that's really the misconception also with dance na parang, okay, anybody can dance. So maybe I'll join this dance, maybe, alam mo yun, parang sali ako dito sa dance team na to kasi magaling sila. It doesn't mean na you're gonna be good. Alam mo yun, there's time, effort, and like in any other craft, there are hindrances, like let's say in basketball, if you're short, mahirap. But the LA Tenorios made it, Jai Reyes has made it, diba? So it's really it's a matter of how you think the game, or how you discarte lang din discarte kasi like I said nga, there are people who are we have this teammate who's like really short but winning battles left and right. Really short and really skinny, but he's winning battles left and right. But so, diba? Ganun lang din for me. Anybody can dance, but not everybody will be great because not everybody has that same mindset, diba? If everybody has that same mindset, it's solid, diba? The NBA na tayo ngayon, diba?
Okay. Okay. Next, I wanted to talk about your careers next. So obviously you guys were actually no, we'll talk about that in a bit. First, I wanted to ask yung criteria ng dance. Like, when you go into competition, what do they usually look for? Or like you mentioned earlier, it's about the judges will decide. So what is their criteria? I guess just for me and like yung mga those that aren't that familiar with dance competitions.
So
alam
what? Sorry, Elna, you're talking. Sorry, go.
Hindi, go. I said na mas alam mo yan kasi choreographer ka din. So like when you you consider those things then.
Yeah, so every competition has different criteria talaga. So I think that's where like I said, the dance IQ or like the competing IQ comes in. Like let's say UAAP is it leans more towards parang UAAP, the UAAP dance competition is parang more athletic, if you get what I mean. Like it requires stronger hits, ganyan, stronger ganyan. instead of like really yung mga artsy stuff where like if you play like let's say an Ed Sheeran song in UAP, that's not the smart thing to do kasi in the UAP parang they want talaga medyo hype ganyan. If you, gets ba?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's different. But usually, the usual criteria naman in every competition, there's I forget the terms pero let's say there's performance. So if everybody's performing or if nakang ganito lang kayo, 'di ba? Kahit sabay-sabay kayo, sobrang baba ng performance nyo. 'Di ba? May performance, there's cleanliness, so it will mapakita kung how clean you guys are. And then there's also like how smart the choreography is. Like, oh, I haven't seen that. Okay, 100. Alam mo yan? So it's a mix of that's why competitions like the UAAP, that's really, we really enjoy it because it's really a mix of all. You can't just be athletic, you can't just be
Yeah.
smart choreographers, you can't just be artists where ikaw lang makakagets ng ginagawa mo. It's really there's really, you really have to be smart about it if you really want to make an impact, or if you really want to win. And then sa strategy naman, going back to what I was saying kanina, sa strategy, especially when it comes to like different competitions, you really have to study the judges because they'll give you the judges like weeks before. Like, okay, let's say judge number 1 for UAAP, mahilig siya sa sharp, 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 sharp. We'll do that. We'll come in among choreographers or with the coaches. We'll be like, okay, so let's put one segment where, because we weren't really known to be sharp.
Yeah.
Like in LaSalle, we weren't really known to be sharp, but like,
Mm.
hey, sige, bigay natin daw kasi this judge probably likes, yan yung style niya. And then there's another judge who likes flips and all these things. Okay, sige, we have a flipper. Okay, maglagay tayo ng flip. And then there's another judge who's gusto niya yung old school technique. So that's where you put the popping, like the groove, and like old school styles, ganyan. And yun nga, like I said, there are some competitions, but there are some competitions also na walang criteria at all. That's also tough because you don't know grabe, what are they looking for, diba? Parang you really have to, kailangan mo talaga ipaga yung utak mo. Now that's all pre-competition. For me kasi all the competition is 80% pre-competition and 20% is what you do on the floor. Alam mo yan? So yeah, so yun nga. So when it comes to competitions, it's really a matter of being smart about it. I'm sure not everyone thinks this way. Everybody the other crews or the other dance companies for sure have their own way of competing. Some what do you call this? Some dance companies or crews will be like, okay, no, we're good at this, so we're gonna stick with this. We're just gonna up our game. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But like how we did it was really more of like being smart about, because we were, we really pride ourselves in being kind of all around. So we have our own thing, but parang we pride ourselves na, okay, we can do that, also we can do that, so we can easily adjust not really easily, but we try to adjust to, like, let's say, okay, this judge is gonna be here, and then like let's say in UAAP competitions you need like 3 styles. Diba there's a requirement? Tama ba, Elna? Like you have to have, or
Yeah,
HHI
so
lang ba yan? Yeah, alam ko
parang
UAAP
HHI.
rin. Yeah, HHI and also UAAP, where there's a requirement. You have to have at least you have to have at least 3 dance styles. You have to have at least 3 dance styles in the competition. So if you get 2 lang, no matter, even if you're the best, even if you're like, like the Jabberwockies, but you only do 2 styles, ang laking ano nun. So,
Yeah.
Cool,
so
yeah.
there's still technicalities and all that. Like you can be the team that nobody, that everybody's talking about after the dance competition. Everybody's talking about you, but like in any other sport, there's always one winner.
Yeah.
Or like 3 winners, or or 1 gold. So it's still,
Yeah.
if you're there to win, you have to be smart about it. So if you can't just be, oh, bahala kayo, I will do this. I mean, depende naman sa crew. If you're like the rebellious crew, not that I have anything against them, but if you're the rebellious crew, they kami to, alam mo yun, parang kami to, we'll do this, we'll do that. Pero yeah, everybody's talking about them, but they didn't place. Alam mo yun, so it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
Ako, I
But
think
us kasi, yeah, go.
Ay, sorry.
I'm done. No, I'm done.
Hindi,
Yun nga, they consider that and all what Gio said. Pero I think yung important din na laging kino-consider in almost every competition is yung audience impact. Because we're not just impressing the judges, hindi lang yung opinion nila yung nagmamatter. We're also impressing the audience, how they react. Parang, so siyempre, kino-consider din namin yun when we're making the piece. Like, kanino ba tayo sasayaw? Sino ba yung audience natin? How are we gonna entertain these people? So yeah, it's a different crowd every competition. Pag UAAP, yeah, it's more for the masses. Alam mo yun, really depends din on the competition. Yeah. Pwede nga maging team yun ng UAAP. Alam mo yun, kasi it's really for the mass, yeah. Yun, so yeah, audience impact then plays a really big role sa what they consider sa dance competitions.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I said, every dance competition has its own criteria. Like that's
I
always our
think yun
joke. Like in
din yung-
UAAP.
Yeah, UAAP, we considered using Queen as a theme kasi parang yun yung uso nun, or like there was hype about because of the movie and everything. So parang we use it to our advantage na since ito yung uso and we're performing for the masses, why don't we make a piece sa UAAP na Queen? So yun, parang that, I think that, I believe, helped us like gain some points and grabe, yung kumakanta yung crowd nung sa isang segment, solid lang talaga na we felt na we didn't just perform for the judges to win, pero like we touched the audience talaga, like through music, through our dancing, we entertained them. So yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
sure.
So, that with that being the criteria, if we look at the other UAP sports, going into the competition, you kind of have a feeling of who has the edge, who has, like, let's say with basketball, women's and men's, you have Ateneo as a favorite, you have NU in the women's. Volleyball, parang you obviously know there's a competition, but there's an idea then of like who's the favorite. And Gio, you were mentioning kanina na parang in high school, usually tinatrash talk ng coach. So you don't really have, parang you always think you're the best. And I'm sure that's the case naman pa din.
Yeah.
But like, did you guys, parang, is there a similar one going in college na parang, oh, this is the team to look out for, this is the favorite, or did, was that you guys before, before the competition starts pa lang? Because actually to add, because parang in those other sports, there's scouting eh. But in this case, parang I think it's like unfair if you get to scout what their opponents are gonna do. So you really have like basically no idea of what they're gonna run. So is it parang do you is there a sense of who's the favorite pa rin?
Ako,
I think kasi it's like a dance community eh. Parang parang nagkakaroon ng idea na ganun because of the history na rin, like yung records nila and everything. So like coming into a competition with syempre like a team na alam mong ito na yung na-achieve, it makes you think of them in a way na parang ito yung one to beat. Like syempre kung sa basketball may parang Ateneo Lasal, sa dance din may parang UP Street, LSDC-Street, may mga ganong parang rivalry. Healthy naman, mga ganon. Like parang nung UAAP, if I'm not mistaken, yung last season 81, parang pantay na lahat ng wins. Tapos whoever wins this year, yun na yung may pinakamaraming gold. So like parang it was really a tough competition. We really had to, give her everything. It's gonna set records, history. Tapos ayun, nanalo naman kami. So yun, syempre hindi rin may iwasan yung ganung feeling sa ibang schools. And nakakatulong din yun mag-push each other to make great pieces talaga. Kasi grabe, ang dami ng schools na kasi may mga, alam mo yun, parang usual top 3 winners. You can't, like, parang every year sila na lang yung laging nananalo. Pero like, recent years, sobrang nag-iiba na yung top 3. Like, schools are stepping up talaga their game. We're hearing NU na, mas nagpe-place these past few years. So parang it's nice seeing that kasi nag-step up na talaga yung ibang universities. So nag-iiba rin yung mga idea of people na who's the one to beat, sino ba yung team na kailangan nating alam mo yun, panoorin. Pero sila Gio, meeting new dancer friends after nung quarantine, like I had this quarantine, I met more friends from UP Street. Tapos when I talk to them, yung intimidation, yung feeling of rivalry na nafe-feel pala namin as LSDC-Street members, nafe-feel din pala nila towards us. So sobrang, it's so nice to hear that, na parang, oh my gosh, pareho lang pala tayo na nung UAAP, ganyan din yung tingin namin sa inyo, sobrang kinakabahan kami. Lalo na nung nanalo sila Gio, nung Ego. Ever since that piece, I've been hearing people na, grabe, LSDC is the one to watch out for after that piece. If they can create something like that, baka in the future, alam mo yun, yung mga nag-train nilang mga bata, na-hone nila na incoming talent, definitely may ma-offer sa future na kailangan natin, alam niyo yan, abangan. So yeah, it's nice to hear that from the school na, yun nga, akala nyo may beef or something. Very fun. Ikaw, Gio.
You, Gio.
Elna basically said it all, but wait, what's the question again? Sorry.
No, parang if do you think is there like a sense of who's the favorite going into the competition?
Yeah. Okay, so who's the favorite? It's more of like like what she said, like the past, like the history, or especially like the year before. Kasi syempre, like in the other sports, may mga nag-graduate. Alam mo yan. So like let's say school A, I won't give names now, but let's say school A, you know, they've been strong from like 2015 to 2017, but yung seniors na yon nag-graduate na, alam mo yun. So parang okay, maybe 2018 baka hindi sila, they might be, they're okay, but you know, you really can't count them out because it's really, like I said, it's the pre-competition where, you know, the pre-competition is the real competition. Like for me, no matter, you know, if let's say may naisip yung coach nila or yung choreographers nila na sobrang wow, di ba, parang that doesn't, you know, they baka mas magaling pa sila dun sa solid na seniors nila dati, di ba, or something like that. But going back to this last UAAP, nag-second place kami. Tapos medyo masakit yung second place namin nung year before nitong nanalo kami. And yung nag-first place was FEU. So, and we knew it was because they got their new coach, you know. So it's those small things. Okay, this group got a new coach and he's really good. So, you know, they're a team. You know, they're still a team we have to watch out for. And you know, and sila rin nag-second place itong last one when we won. So parang, you know, we were right. So pero of course, as a team, when you're talking with the coaches, syempre you don't want to be talking about sino yung target natin. Syempre hindi ganun yung usapan. But of course, di ba? Hindi mo rin naman may iwasan pag let's say kayo na lang ng, you know, kayo tatlo na lang kayo. 'Di ba? Parang yung mga small groups, for sure hindi naman may iwasan na parang may hiritan na parang okay, kailangan natin talunin to kasi ang sakit ng last. Natalo natin ganun. But yeah, it's more of like, you know, it's more of like you know, like history and sino yung mga nandun, alam mo yun, kung sino yung mga dancers pa rin na naiwan from last year or from when they were strong, you know, the strongest. And the coach is a really, you know, the coach is really big. That's a really big factor.
Yeah.
Ang hirap din
Because
sabihin
basically
na,
sometimes, yeah, that's basically their mind. So they just have like, you know, they have robots that they're, but you know, that I know some groups that are like that, but there are also some groups where it's a collaboration between the students and the coaches, which is, you know, it really depends naman on the culture of your group, and you know, not taking away anything against, you know, people that are doing this from, you know, and people that are doing this, because like I said, there's no formula, anything can work. It's just that it's a matter of having the right combination, all that stuff. Sorry, Anna, you're saying something?
yeah. Parang it really depends din yun sa culture ng team, what you stand for. Kasi yung, I don't think parang favorite is the word for it. you can't really say this team is the kasi nag-iiba talaga. Like, some teams don't consider this team as their competition or pero since parang pareho sila na i-offer, they might consider this more threatening, ganun. You can't really say na this specific team is a favorite ng isang competition, favorite mag-champion ng isang judge or like, alam mo yun, it really depends on the person overall. Hindi lang siya nag-depend on one thing. So, ang hirap niya because
Yeah.
it's a favorite.
Sorry, can I add?
Yeah, go
So,
lang.
and that's for me, yun dun nag-iiba yung, let's say, basketball. Basketball, you can take it game per game. So let's say this game, you're all eyes on UE, all eyes on Lasal, or all eyes on Ateneo, diba? Ganun. Pero here, kasi you can't do that. And that can be a common mistake actually. Na let's say, let's say Lasal, like what she said, diba? There's this parang unspoken beef with UP. Kasi like most wins and all that. But if we're too focused on UP, I'm not saying we were in 2018, but you know, you can say now, let's say we were too focused on UP, they won third, and then biglang may FU pala, diba? So you really can't have that mindset. You can't have that mindset where you want to beat this team, because when you're in a dance competition, you're really not only against one team. You're not only against one team. You're against like everybody else. But so how we see it, like kami, like in our group, I don't know how it is with other groups, but in our group, sa Lasal Dance Company, we always wanted to beat ourselves. You know, we wanted to be better than last year or this last competition. So, you know, it's just kasi it's just frustrating if you're just too focused on UP and Ateneo, ganyan, kasi, you know, anything can happen.
Yeah. Okay. So, but obviously, you know, with whether you know you guys don't think you were the favorites, you did obviously win the championship. And you know, with the whole pandemic, you guys are still technically the defending champions. I think it got canceled this past year. I guess I wanted to ask you, you know, how did it feel? I'll try to qualify it a bit more. So for Elna first, you know, I'm sure you've won a lot of competitions in the past, you know, Sayawata, even with LSDC, I guess in the earlier years. But you know, it was how big or how different was it winning, you know, a UAAP championship?
Sa UAAP, sobrang big deal niya sa akin bilang, kasi like, if you're a college dancer, UAAP talaga is one of the competitions na you look forward to, na it's the competition na you pray na sana maging lineup ka, you work hard for it, starting years mo pa lang sa college, being like a trainee dun sa dance team, parang yun yung type na competition na you set your mind, you set as a goal, and na you wish mong ma-take off mo sa bucket list mo sa college life mo. That was UAAP for me. And I'm sure sa a lot of dancers din. So parang even being considered to compete, to represent the school sa UAAP, sobrang big deal na nun for me. I was able to compete 2 times. Yun nga, yung nag-second, tas yung recent. Some of my friends, naka-3 UAAP na sila. Some of my friends, never nila na-experience. Like, yung huling batchmates namin, yun nga ay parang last chance na sana niyang mag-compete sa UAAP na to, sa street dance. But then, yeah, COVID happened. So, yeah, it's just really like a blessing for me na I was able to do that before all this happened. Especially nga kasi it was really like a dream for me. Sobrang big deal ng UAAP sa mga schools eh. Kasi, yeah, it's kasi nga parang considered din as a sport. Like, I know UP ngayon, yung street dance nila is actually considered as athletes na sa school. So like, they have the tuition fee discount, they have access to the gyms, unlike sa Lasal, sobrang, I think, long way to go pa, or I don't even know if they have plans on considering LSDC-Street to be like an athlete under Lasal. Like a varsity, yeah. So yun.
Grabe, Lasal, oh. Hindi ba si Elna?
Hindi, bakala. Real lang.
Shoutouts.
For you, Gio, I want parang we both grew up, you know, huge fans of Ateneo basketball. So I'm pretty sure parang when we imagine winning a UAP championship, it's obviously, basketball, like parang everyone's gonna storm the court, and then yung ganun na imaginations. So, you have the privilege of saying that you are a UAP champion in street dance. I wanted to ask, parang is it the same feeling that you imagined you would have? Or is it better? Is it different?
I think it's different and the same at the same time. Kasi parang this last UAAP, how do I say it ba? Like, it's more of you're not really thinking of those things now where you're waiting for everybody to run in. Alam mo yun? It's more of like in that point in time, you're just really thinking, wow, we did it. Alam mo yun? It's more of like you with your teammates. It's
Yeah.
more of like a team thing rather than thinking of what other people think and how people celebrate it, or it's more of like a celebration with, because there's so many emotions that you're not really thinking about those things anymore. There's just so many emotions, like ang layo ng narating from when we started ganyan. Like this last year AP, we had like, how many freshmen did we have? We had a lot of freshmen, no?
Yeah.
So start
First
pa
time.
lang, we knew, okay, this is gonna be, we believed in them for sure. Like they had the time. There's a reason why they were part of the team. But of course, if you have in every sport or in every group, if you add somebody new, of course it's gonna be
Yeah,
a process, and it's not gonna be easy for na didikit kayo, na you're gonna get that chemistry you want, na na makukuha ng lahat yung dance ganyan. And so yeah, all those emotions, at that point, that's when it's that everything's creeping in, all lahat ng napagalitan ng coach, especially this last year AP. um uh may hindi naman drama, but I mean it's normal in an LSDC, pero ang dami naming ano yun ito, basta we didn't agree on we had a lot of disagreements with the coaches, especially us choreographers, kasi a little background lang. Starting, when was this, 2017, 2018, there was kind of like a culture change in LSDC, where the coaches were like, okay, let's give more freedom to the choreographers pool, and to, like, to the members. Okay, not everybody can chip in. It became more of like a democracy, where it became more of like a democracy, where everybody, if you had where we were choreographing a lot of things. And I think that's also what made this last UAAP special, is the coaches parang they were more of like a guide,
Yeah.
but a lot of the choreographies were made by coming members, choreographer ka man or not, but that's why it's just it's basically the emotions that the whole journey brought. So, the
Yeah.
emotions that we were keeping inside, and we just wanted to let out. And winning the championship was just really the icing on the cake, because we all got really close. We all bonded during that few month span, 3 month span, na we were just really focused on UAAP. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's like how I expect. Basta it's different. I
Yeah.
really feel like it's different, because it's a different sport. Like what we were just talking about. It's a different thing altogether.
Okay. Okay. I guess just a quick question before we go to the ending segment. I was reading about your performance, and if I'm not mistaken, Queen actually recognized it, or talked about it, if I'm not mistaken. So could you guys give us like a quick parang what was going on through the minds of you guys and your team when it happened?
That was crazy. Wild. We didn't expect
Yeah.
that at all.
I think it
So a
was an
little,
Instagram
yeah.
post.
Hmm.
Yeah, parang Instagram post siya. Like someone just posted a screenshot sa group chat namin. Tapos parang we all checked it out na parang, oh, it's official nga. Queen reposted, or like, yeah, Queen reposted it on their Instagram, and then there were articles na na share the story na Philippine dance team recognized by Queen, ganyan. So parang, syempre, for the whole theme to be circulated on Queen, tas for them to notice, it was such a, like, it's an achievement na hindi naman namin in the first place ma-achieve. Pero we were blessed enough na naabot namin yun. Na, like, just by performing it sa UAAP. And yeah, it showed how far, a piece can go. Like, and yung number of people na kaya maka-appreciate nun, sobrang extensive nung reach niya. So yeah, it was really an achievement na hindi namin in-expect ma-achieve. Yeah, it was nice.
Pwede ba mag-short background story? That's funny
Yeah,
kasi
go lang.
isa sa mga parang away namin ng coaches noon. Kasi me together with like the captain, I was the co-captain, si captain si Diego Aviles. We were, so basically, like I said, they gave us freedom. So first, and then when we first suggested na let's do Queen, I remember. So I was also like mixing the music that time. So I made a draft of the music, and I remember pinarinig namin sa coaches, and they were like, ano to? Parang, ano to? Akala ko ba Bohemian Rhapsody? Bohemian Rhapsody. They thought like the whole basta Bohemian Rhapsody lang. But what we meant was we wanted like a Queen theme piece, like with all their popular songs. And then, so yun, basta daming so parang may drama pa doon and all that. Tapos biglang tapos finally, pinush talaga namin na Queen talaga Queen. Ang hirap kasi ng Bohemian Rhapsody sa'yo, and diba, you know how long that song is. And you have to cut it pa to like 2 or 3 minutes. Paano ba sa UAP? Anyway, and then the UAP competition comes, and then the third place, they were really good also. NU did Bohemian Rhapsody, bro. And that was crazy. We were like, dang, that would have been, I don't think, I don't know if, I wouldn't say I don't think we would have won, but it would have been really different if, two schools did the exact same thing, kind of, basically. Depending na lang sa choreography and all that stuff. But yeah, that was funny lang. Good thing we stuck with that. But yeah, going to when we found out about Queen, like what Elna said, we didn't really, that's not, it wasn't as if our goal was like, okay, let's do a Queen piece para they'll notice us. But yeah, so they posted it on their Instagram, and then they apparently posted it also on their what do you call this? On their website. They had their website, and then they posted the link of the LSDC video from YouTube. And it was so funny because we'd go to the comments, and then parang may mga nag-away-away pa. It was that viral na parang people, like, there was this one person who was saying, why'd you remix the songs, blah blah blah. But it was just so funny. Parang ito pala yung feeling na mag-viral and pinag-usapan. But yeah, we didn't expect this at all, but it was nice to at least have that, and like sport, like different, like mga CNN, I think, and yung mga ABS-CBN, like parang they posted it, so parang the word got out, and so
yeah,
that was nice.
Yeah, okay, for sure. Okay, just to I have this quick segment before we end. It's called Change Court, Change Sport. So obviously we're gonna add dances that you can also choose from. So first question, I guess, for both of you is, if you could try any other sport, I guess, or dance, doesn't have to be competitive or anything, but just something that you've always been curious about, or wanted to try, what would it be?
Ako, sobrang easy ng question kasi like may sport talaga na I've been wanting to try ever since I was a kid. Like, alam niyo pag intrams, yung whole batch will play kickball for the intrams, yung game. Pag grade 5, softball. Pag grade 7, basketball. Parang ganun. When I was in grade 5, nung pag grade 6 na ako, I really wanted to try softball talaga. It was really a sport that interested me, especially kasi yun yung main game nga namin nung intrams, nung grade 5 kami. So coming into grade 6, I really wanted to like try out, be part of the university. Kasi, backstory, sobrang favorite, you mentioned this kanina, yung dodgeball, cushball, sobrang favorite ko yun ng bata. And I felt like, oh my gosh, kung sport lang to, varsity ako, sobrang favorite ko mag-dodgeball, every dismissal, on automatic na yun, dodgeball. So like, I felt like kung feeling ko ang galing ko, why not try softball? Sobrang, yeah, yun sobrang, that interested me. Pero yeah, coming into grade 6, my friend just said, tara, dance club tayo. So then I tried. I liked it and continued it. So yun. Wala akong time. Never ko na tinignan ulit yung softball. But yeah, if I were to change courts or yeah, softball talaga willing to try.
Yeah. That's cool though. Parang we never had like baseball sa intrams or anything.
Yeah, no, wala.
It
was always like a club. Ganun. I was part of baseball club. If you guys, I tried that. Yeah. But then again, I left because I thought kaya ko mag-PBA.
Kaya pa yan.
Kaya pa.
No, yeah. What about you, Gio? What other sports ever?
Actually, it's not a sport. It's a dance. It's tap dancing. I've always been a fan of tap dancing, but parang it's more of been like, I'm a fan lang. Parang I was never, I can go out of my way and learn it, but I don't know why. But I still want to. I mean, that's a plan. That's always been a plan. I want to learn tap dancing because I just find it so cool.
Okay, I guess just a follow up, I guess, for both of you, and then considering dancers, what do you think is the hardest dance to try or to learn?
Ooh.
Ako personally, it's hard to answer that question, kasi it depends on what you like and how you see it. But ako, personally, I've tried pole dancing for our last production, and that was hard. Like being a street dancer, and I'm not one of those girl dancers na laging nilalagay sa girly parts and everything like that. For me to try pole dancing, sobrang laking risk na nun, sobrang laking challenge for me. That was before not doing anything about it. I would consider pole dancing as one of the dances na sobrang hirap and interested ako to learn. And parang considered na rin ata siya as a sport, if I'm not mistaken.
Parang I know, I've read
right?
about it, and it seems really like challenging, like
that's really
core-wise, legs.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah, sobrang like trauma flashback, de joke lang. Parang we have trainings lang every Sunday night. Yeah, we had a good coach, si Coach Paula. Sobrang galing niya. Sobrang patient din niya teaching like beginners. Yeah, I think when you consider learning something you think is challenging and hard, malaking factor din yung maging mentor mo and coach mo doon. Kasi it's gonna malaking influence yun if you're gonna want to continue it, Yun. Pole dancing.
What about you, Gio?
Ikaw, Gio.
Oh, this is easy. Ballet or contemporary. Oh my gosh. That's so hard for me, especially I'm not flexible, and I'm sure Elna knows this. I'm like, I'm the type na medyo groovy, ganyan. So I always want to bounce or like ganyan. When I hear the songs they use for like contemporary and and ballet and all, and that that kind of dancing, it's always like I'm waiting. Parang sobrang patience.
Patience.
It's just so hard, It's just I find it so hard. Yeah. But it's fun. It's fun though. I sobrang idol ko yung mga nagbaballet and nagko-contemporary because bro, that shit's hard. I mean, that's really hard.
Yeah. Parang ibang set of skills din yung nire-require niya. Actually, yung iba-ibang dance, iba rin yung skill na nire-require. Yeah. Like, I was put in a production, contemporary lang siya. It was like about the life of Saint LaSalle. We had to create like a dance piece. Pero it was contemporary, and feeling ko may nilagay ako ng coaches ko sa lineup na yun para kasi nga sobrang hindi ako for that. They wanted me to learn something new, to try something new. Like ang hirap niya. Like sobrang respect those people who really enjoy that and have the skill for it, devote their times for it, kasi grabe yung flexibility, patience, gracefulness na
Grace,
wala. Yeah, those little
gracefulness.
things.
Like in
Okay.
basketball lang, may positions, diba? Tapos
Yeah,
blessed ka
yeah.
na lang if you're like Kevin Durant who can play big, play small. So it's like that. Stuck with different styles and genres
Yeah,
of
yeah.
dance. So.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. My last question for this segment. In the Philippines, who would you say is your favorite athlete or dancer, but from a different sport or dance? Style of dance, yeah. So it can be, yeah, it can be just like a basketball player or whatever, or it can be someone from a different dance. Parang, outside your circle a bit.
Sino ba?
I'll go first. Pero medyo given na ano, like let's say Kiefer ganyan, 'di ba?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pero given
Okay.
na 'yun eh. So hirapan natin. Ikaw muna Elna. I'm thinking. Harvey, 'di ba? Mga ganyan
Um,
parang medyo given na 'yun eh. But sige, go.
Sino ba? Ang hirap naman. Wala, hindi rin kasi ako familiar, like, sa ibang sports. I'm not really, wala akong masyadong alam sa sports.
Mm.
Pero like, sa dance, ang dami kasing magaling eh. Like, oh my God, this is so hard.
Oh wait, sa dance? Is it
Pwedeng dance, yeah.
dance and in sport?
Pwedeng dance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. In dance, I'd say
Pero
it's
ibang dance naman. Like, so not in street dance.
Sa TikTok genre. Joke lang.
Oh wow, no, yeah, that's hard. So I'll just go with
Ang hirap, di ba?
I mean, I can give basketball player, but parang corny. Alam mo yan? We're basketball lovers, so I mean, so that's a given. So probably wait, may naisip na ako eh.
Ang dami kasing magagaling sa dance community.
Yeah.
Who's that
Ako-
volleyball player of Lasal before? Yung maliit.
Si
Sobrang
Galang.
Lasal or
Ay, si
UST?
ano?
Lasal.
Si yung laging nagda-dive.
Yeah. Si
Wow,
Don Makandili.
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 Yeah.
Makandili.
Makandili. Wow, yun talaga. As in, because of her, siguro parang na-enjoy ko yung, as in watching volleyball. I mean, there's Eliza and yun nga, yung sa USD, what's her name?
Si CC.
Galang. Ay,
Yeah, pero sila, they're more of like, grabe sila mag
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I like kasi how, sa team player, si Makandili, where her main, talaga, is to set up the best shot.
Yeah,
Parang
and
point
she's like
guard,
diving everywhere.
Yeah, wow, galing. So yeah, it's Makandili for me.
Right.
yeah. I can't really name a person. Kasi like, hindi rin ako familiar. So, I don't really, kasi it's hard, like for me, ang main interest ko talaga is street dance. So like, doon lang din talaga yung alam ko. And like, rarely lang na I find something in the contemporary side na ma-appreciate ko yung gantong klaseng art. So like, it's hard for me to name a person.
Okay.
Hindi rin ako ma-sport, so parang, sino ba? Pero yeah, those are good answers. Like sila doon. Like seeing them train, like sabay kami ng
Yeah.
training. Like if my water break, you see us just watching them train. Yeah. Fun.
It's
Okay.
inspiring, yeah.
Yeah.
Geronte,
Okay.
ganun.
Oh yeah, dude.
I thought Elna was gonna say Jeron.
Okay. I guess just before we end, how would you suggest people get into or start dancing? Both like, let's say kunwari back to normal na, like how would you recommend they start, but also like right now while everyone's at home on lockdown, what do you think people can do to get into it, to start off? What would be a good stepping stone?
So actually, I feel like it's easier now because usually the problem is like what I hear from people who want to start dancing is, especially like let's say walang pandemic, parang they'll be like, Gio, I want to start dancing pero nahihiya ako mag-class kasi ang daming magagaling. So, they get discouraged. But now, now that we're in, now that we're in a pandemic, there are all these websites that people are putting up where they're giving, whether it's free or not, but they're giving classes. So, and nobody's gonna, I think that's a good stepping stone. That do it, now's the right time because nobody's gonna judge you, and
Yeah.
nobody's, yeah, I mean, I won't say naman people judge you when you go to a dance class, but but of course as a dancer who's trying to start, of course you overthink, man.
Yeah, yeah.
There's really good guys laughing at me or something, diba? Parang now, so diba, now that everything's online, I think now, simply taking dance classes online, they're like, there's this website, it's called Stizzy. No, Steezy pala, steezy.com, where they have different categories, beginner, and then under beginner there are different genres, hip hop, popping, or contemporary, whatever you want. And so I think it's actually easier now
Yeah.
with this whole online,
No,
with
yeah, and like
internet.
parang with like live, even if it's like a live class, you have the safety net of like, turning off your camera again and
Yeah, diba? Or yeah, or something like that, diba? Uy, nako, Jigo, ah. Baka magda-dance class
Baka
ka na dyan,
nagda-dance
ah.
class ka na.
But alam mo yung mga ganon.
or
No,
so
but bro,
I've
Jigo,
heard,
if you really wanna... No, but yeah, for sure. Yeah, like what you said. Yeah, for sure. Ganun nga.
What about you,
Ako,
Elna? What do you do?
it's something, I tried this lang din recently nung quarantine. I started freestyling, just dancing on my own, knowing my own identity when it comes to dance, learning new vocabs. Yeah, I think freestyling is one good way to start dancing kasi it's really just knowing how your body moves naturally to any music. It's how you normally would react if you just, you're not thinking of anything else. Really get to know yourself more when you're freestyling. So yeah, I can start there, and who knows, some people kasi are great freestylers, some are better choreographers. Pero yeah, it really has to start you. You have to start moving, may it be freestyling, learning a class. Yeah, ang dami namang ways to get into dancing. For me, it was hard to get into freestyling kasi I grew up laging nasa team na parang I just have to follow this choreography. I just have to learn this skill. Tapos, if I get that done, okay na ako as a dance. Pero now being alone, graduating from the teams, like that you ask yourself, sino ba ako behind all the instructions, the choreographies, like how do I dance alone? Like what's my identity as a dancer? So yeah, that's what I've been working on this quarantine. Freestyling talaga. It's one way to start dancing. Anyone can do it, as in, yeah.
All right.
Gio,
Okay.
freestyler.
Grabe.
Thank you guys. So once again, that was Gio Martinez and Elna Ocampo. Guys, thanks so much for
Thank you,
being my
Jigo.
guest
Thank
today.
you
I missed
so
you, bro.
much.
Thanks for having us.
Miss you too, guys.
We
Yeah,
appreciate.
yeah.
We
For
really
good
appreciate
luck.
it. Honestly, no, we really
Sorry,
do.
Because
Because
I personally learned a lot, but I have to get to my dance class na kasi.
kaya pala. Kaya pala. Okay,
Kaya
sige.
pala.
Don't forget to record it, tapos pakita mo sa amin.
The post, no?
Thank you also for tuning in. Special thanks to Jamie for requesting for this episode in the comments. If you want to suggest or recommend or request any other sport, any sport or any athlete, or as we've seen, dancer, please do let us know in the comments. We'll try our best to get them on the show, get them on the podcast. Please don't forget to like us on Facebook, Instagram. You can also follow us on Spotify and on YouTube. We are Sports Season Pod on all platforms. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next episode of Sports Season.